Back here on Radio Row, inside the Mall of America, final day of Radio Row, day number 5. It's the Zach Gelb Show right here on Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. And now joining us is an old friend of the program, and that's Christian Fauria. Christian, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just trying to work off this hangover from last night.
What party did you go to?
No parties, just dinner and drinks, more than I should be. Yeah, it's one of those things where, it's so crappy outside, all you want to do is drink. So that's what I've been doing.
Well, I walked outside last night with a Guinness beer, and it froze. I was outside for 5 seconds, the beer freezes.
Yeah, it's pretty crappy out here. This is the worst city in the world. Like, I hate it here.
What is there to do?
It's just really –
other than this mall, there's nothing to do here.
You better find a warm body and have lots of sex. I don't know. That gives you no excuse to get out of the – that's what I would do. That's what I've been trying to do. That's what I tried to do last night.
The problem is your wingman's what, Glenn Ordway on the road?
Yeah, I'd spoon Glenn, though. As long as I'm the dominant role. I'm fine with that.
I think you would be. Glenn's like 4'3".
As long as he plays submissive.
Talking to Christian Fauria.
50 Shades Darker Than Hell. That's what that show would be called.
I learned 2 things. You put on a WEI guy this week, you never know where it's going to go. We had Minahan on. You never know where it goes with him.
Yeah, he's psychotic.
Did you guys almost get into a fight? He was telling us a little bit about that.
Oh, we did get into a fight.
Did you punch him?
No, it's a radio fight, so it's kind of like
bunch of BS.
No, because you can't physically touch him, right? You can just go to the edge, and he being the little guy, and I be the big guy. It's natural for the big guy to punch the little guy, but it didn't happen. He said it did. It went back and forth, and then he went to HR. And then we both got suspended.
Wait. Kirk went to HR.
He went to HR. Yeah.
Oh, that's a soft move.
He didn't feel safe.
That's a soft move by him.
It's a soft move. It's a complete.
Because with how boisterous he is, and the shtick he plays, and I love Kirk. I love listening to him. Yeah. But to go to HR over that when he was probably the instigator?
That's the one thing that he's never lived down. And I actually like Kirk. For everything that's been said about those guys, they're both stand-up great guys. Like Kirk and Jared, they're both great guys. But I like the fact, I personally do. And I remember him and I were talking on the phone, and I was getting ready to do a show, and we were kind of going back and forth. And they're like, listen, man, we're good. We're good. But this is going to happen again. We're going to try and strangle each other at some point in time, which is fine. We're good with it. We don't need to, we don't need to be brothers, but it's good radio. People like listening to it. It's real emotion. It's not fake. I'm not acting like I hate him. At that point in time, I hated his guts, but, it passes.
With this game coming up, when did you retire again?
I retired in 2007.
And Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are still coaching and playing in this
it really
league.
is amazing.
How about that success?
It's funny, all the guys that have gone. I sat down with Brady one time. We did an interview, and it was funny because he just gets older, and the guys that come in just get younger. Literally, they're 19 and 20 years old when they
grew
come
up probably watching him and playing.
Yeah, and you probably had a Brady poster. Who knows what they were doing, to Giselle, when in all the underwear ads that she was doing, and that's. And I remember sitting there going, you have nothing in common with these guys. How do you relate to them? And, he doesn't have to is the thing. The fact is that he just has to make sure that those guys, do the right thing and they know what they're doing. But it really is a crazy situation that the guy is still playing when everybody that he played with so long ago, they all have another career, and that a lot goes into them being able to do that. But, and I would say that's the biggest thing is how do you mentally keep yourself working out? To me, I was healthy enough. I could have kept playing. I was just tired of getting hit. I was tired of the routine. I was sick of coaches telling me where I had to be, when I had to be there. What I was done with it. And I was getting older. I was 36 when I was retired, and that was considered ancient. Okay, 36 freaking years old. That to me is old enough. And I just was done. I just didn't want to do it anymore. Somehow, and I was still a competitive guy. I wanted to do something different. And the fact that he's still able to convince himself, his body, that he can still do it is remarkable.
With his story of Tom being a 6th-round draft pick, and Ted Johnson has told me that still annoys him to this day. That still motivates him to this day, even with all that success. When was it that you guys knew that this kid was something special when he took over?
Well, I came in
Seattle.
2002, and at that point in time,
they won the Super Bowl.
They won the Super Bowl, but who knows what he was going to be? It could have been a one and done. The next year, we went 9-7, didn't even make the playoffs. But I could tell
the Jets get in that year.
Well, but I could just tell, listen, I had played with what I thought were great quarterbacks. Warren Moon was my quarterback. Matt Hasselbeck was my quarterback. So I kind of I kind of knew if somebody had it or not just by the way they carried themselves, how they went about their work, the way they called the play in the huddle. Like you could tell the guy had passion, and I was older than him, and I felt like I commanded a lot of respect, and I wasn't going to give you my respect unless I felt like you earned it. So you just knew he had it, and I think you can tell. You have people on your show, you know who gets it, you know who doesn't get it, and it's easy to identify greatness, I think, if you've been around it long enough. Like you'd have Minahan on your show, you can tell he's a good radio guy, right? I'm on your show. I'm the best you've probably ever heard. So I
think Minahan's a little bit better, no offense.
Well, I don't think the ratings would show that, but whatever.
Wait, the ratings
better than I know.
Didn't the morning show just do a 14 show?
And what are the midday show? Who's the number one midday show in the city? We are. Who's the number 2 ranked show in the United States? We are. So they're number 1 for the morning show, but still, I would say that whole thing. Like
you're having a lot of fake news there.
No, we carry ourselves well. They're a great show. We're a better show, but no. The whole station is great.
Let me ask you this, just because we're talking about young players coming in and commanding respect. I cover the Eagles. We're on in Philadelphia, New Jersey, and I look at Carson Wentz. He was someone that walked in at the end of year number 1 in this offseason going into year number 2. They have receivers going to North Dakota. He commanded that respect, and they went on those trips. They went on those bonding experiences, and he's still putting in the work even though he can't play. He's still in the facility at 5:30 in the morning. That's impressive stuff out of the quarterback of the Eagles.
I mean, it's kind of the way it has to be, though. Your best player has to be your hardest worker. That's the way it goes. That's pretty much the rule. So I'm not surprised. And you could tell. And it's not like is he just going in at 5:30 just so people see him, or is he actually doing something?
He works all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got that Brady gene in him of hard work.
Okay, well, that's what you should do.
And you need it.
Yeah, well, if you're the quarterback, you're basically the CEO of the company, and you need to dress a certain way. You need to talk a certain way. And you need to behave a certain way, and your work ethic needs to be obvious, and it can't be fake. And I think that when people see him, with Carson Wentz, you can tell right away. Now the only thing he just needs to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, he'll have the world at his fingertips. If he doesn't, he'll just be another guy that almost could have done it. What
stands out to you about this tight end matchup? Obviously, Gronk, the preeminent tight end in football, but Zach Ertz also a really solid tight end.
I like Zach Ertz a lot. I just love, big athletic tight ends that can run. And I think it's not that so if Gronk is, the number 1 tight end that's ever played, how far back is Zach Ertz? I mean, I think the production could be the same. It'll look different because Gronk's just so physical that he just really just pimps everybody, right? He just jacks them up. So it looks different, but you're still going to see Zach Ertz with, 6 catches, 80 yards. Gronk will have, I don't know how many targets, but he'll still have 80 yards and a couple touchdowns. But the outcome is the same. So I don't think tight ends these days don't need to be Gronk. You don't need to be that guy. You need to be big, physical, and that's what Zach Ertz is. You can see the way he runs his routes, real smooth, real soft hands. He's not a dominating blocker, but he gets in the way enough to make a difference. And that's really all you need to do.
Who wins, and tell me what you're promoting today.
Well, I think the Patriots are going to win, and I actually think it's going to – I'm not going to call it a blow-up, but I think they win handily. Every Super Bowl has been really close with them, and I think the Patriots win again. It's 3 and 4 years, two completing their own separate dynasty from the first one. And we're promoting low T centers, which is a testosterone base center where men like you and I go in, get our blood tested, check our levels, and it basically helps you burn fat, helps you sleep better. All the stuff that I wanted to do when I was playing that was illegal, I can now do legally. That's what I'm going to call it. So but it's a good thing. Everyone should try it out. It's real convenient and it's real easy.
Enjoy your spooning session tonight.
I will.
We appreciate it.
Okay,
Great job
thanks,
as always. Christian Fauria right there on Radio Row. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.